This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, Kyle fluffs up.
Was it us this time?
Yeah, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And Kyle's getting worse.
Kenny becomes obsessed with a turtle.
Dude, we get a prequel as to how that turtle got
Stop
started.
going on about the turtle!
I am never going to
Turtle.
stop. I'm never going to get off that subject.
And we focus on the work of the incredible Okada Mari.
There is so much stuff that we've presented on this show that it's her and we had no idea.
And yet, you know what? Every time we've reviewed or looked at the show, we've always come out positive. Like, we're like,
Yeah.
wow, this
Yeah.
is amazing. And, you know, the connection is there.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi.
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tuned in to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast we dive into the world of anime and manga every fortnight. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts, Kenny, and the return of Lady Fafa.
Hey, I'm back.
You're
She is
back.
back from her journey in the wilderness. What tales have you for us?
Oh my god, so many tales
So many
actually.
tales.
Yeah. But I've been away for about, 4 months now? I
Yeah.
It's really been that long.
It has been very long because,
Yeah.
like, every time it's like, oh no, I've got either a performance or I'm at a con or I've got planning to do, changing of job. It was just
Yeah.
so much was going on, and I
Lot
was
of
like,
obligations.
yeah,
But because of that means we've kept one of your favourite topics.
yes, I'm so excited about this episode.
So this episode, we're talking about Mari Okada. And if you don't know that name, how dare you?
well,
Okay.
How dare- no, I'm kidding.
Okay, but that's
So-
the thing. A lot of people know their animes, but only sometimes passingly know like the names that are attached to it, say Ghibli,
Yeah.
for instance.
Yeah. So Okada is one of the most prolific writers currently working in the anime industry. She's won a number of awards. She's a screenwriter, director, and manga artist, and she's just done
Kind of a
so
big
many
all-rounder.
good things.
Yeah.
She's part of the trio nicknamed the Super Beastars, who get together every now and then to create phenomenal anime.
I believe we mentioned them a while ago
yes.
when we talked about Anohana.
Yes, which she was involved in, and that, of course, means we'll be touching on that again this episode. So, if you are enjoying what you've heard so far, hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff. Join the Kawaii-Fi community because, you know, that's a thing that apparently we have to say in like the first 5 minutes.
is it really?
Yeah.
We
It
have
helps with the
community.
algorithm,
And does it now?
apparently.
Oh.
At
Push
least-
the bell button, Max.
yeah, put on the bell or whatever it is. If you are over on our...
Why did I get Ring My Bell? That song is stuck
Oh,
in my
no.
head. Thanks.
So we also do have anime videos on our YouTube channel as well. So if you are one of our many podcast listeners, head over there and join us. You can find the links in this episode's description. We also have a Patreon, but more on that later. So let's get stuck in with what we've actually had time to have a look at.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Nani? Ohio.
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know. Hooray! I did the thing.
Oni-chan, nani wo miru?
What we're watching? Time? What is this concept of time that Carl speaks of?
Time!
In December, it's a rich people thing.
No. you have it between the date of the 27th and the 29th.
Oh, yeah,
Apparently.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
you
know,
guys
right?
aren't busy preparing for New Year's Day at that point?
Or at work.
Or at work.
Yeah.
Or doing cover for everyone else at work.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about what we've been watching the past fortnight. And Kenny, you went and took a deep dive. Well, not so much a deep dive, just a dive.
Why do you sound like a South Park character all of a sudden?
Because my name's Kyle.
Why do you sound like a South Park character, Kyle?
Shut up, Kenny. So, Kenny, you've been watching Platinum End, which was created and written by the guy who created
Death Note.
Death Note.
And it doesn't show.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one.
Oh,
Well,
dear.
why did you say let's talk about it then?
Because I watched a lot of it.
He needs to feel justified.
It's not my thing. I don't
Not
think.
your thing?
I don't
No.
know. It's for the fact that it came from the pedigree of Death Note, which was like one of my big first ones that I watched all the way through, way back in high school. It's honestly, it feels closer to Mirai Nikki than Death Note.
Oh, dear.
It's just there's a ton of edge.
I mean,
and
it's a death game, isn't it?
It's another one of those death game sort of things with its own twists and takes on the whole idea of it. Everyone's got a Kamen Rider suit.
So everyone's a Super Sentai Power Ranger.
Woo!
And I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of edge. I can respect why people are going to enjoy this, and I expect that it's gonna linger.
And it's going to scratch an itch for a certain sort of demographic of the community.
I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of anime like that, though. I
Well,
mean,
we've been overdosed on lemon death game animes the past 3 years.
Well, the
As
part
much
and
as
live
isekais,
actions too.
And live actions, but they just haven't been good.
I don't know.
I mean, not the live action.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say Squid
Game
Game
was great. I don't necessarily like the ending.
See,
but
here's the thing. It's like in anime, there's something for everyone. There is legitimately every possible genre. You, Fafa, are obsessed with the like idol stuff.
Yes.
And I get it. I don't
Do you
think,
though?
I don't think I can get myself into it. What was it? That anime, if my favorite idol went to the Budokan, I would die.
Yeah.
That was like one of the funniest series I watched.
It's
of
probably
that
one
year.
of the best art
And
animes
it was
as well.
a fantastic sort of introduction to that whole subculture.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I can respect why
Yeah.
people love it. I just, it's sort
So
of
it's the
not.
same sort of thing with Platinum End.
Similar, yes.
I see.
It's like
What don't you like about it? What is it that's kind of making you go,
basically all the Mirai Nickiness. It's
So just the
a
constant...
lot of edge.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Edginess, hey?
So what you're saying is there's too many swordsmen. Oh, God, I think I might have to cut that. Don't know where my brain went for that.
Just
yeah, I was going to say, where were you going with that?
I have no idea.
I kept quiet because I was like, where's
I'll just censor it. So for those who are listening, they'll just hear a beep. Don't worry, it was just me and my brain going completely off the rails.
we can
And it
cut
wasn't
that out.
us this time.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
you guys for a change.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm getting better, and Kyle's getting worse. This is a good day.
No! All right, let's move along from something that I clearly am just going to keep fluffing up on.
I also watched Earthworm Jim.
You also watched Earthworm Jim, but that's not an anime. That's a cartoon.
It should be an anime.
Well, actually.
No, it wasn't. It was developed in America.
We need to get Studio Trigger on that. Imagine
can you
Studio
imagine-
Trigger doing.
Could you imagine that?
Earthworm Jim is an anime.
Oh,
It would be
hell!
pretty good. But I'm more just. I was thinking like Earthworm Jim is an anime. But I had something else to say, but we'll just go on because I've completely mind blanked. So evidently this is going to be one of those episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Folks, sorry. Fafa,
Hello.
you've been going into the back catalogue.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I like back catalogue stuff.
Yes, you do.
It's just, I find it hard catching up with the recent things. 'Cause like I said, time is just,
Time's, difficult.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Time is an immaterial
Whereas
concept.
it's really funny because I can find myself going back to the back catalogue and actually watching it without, any drama and, because it's always going to be there and you don't have to
Well,
you know?
rights pending and all that stuff, yeah.
That's
but-
fair
course.
enough, yeah.
I mean, if you've got it on your DVDs, you're set.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
there's so much stuff in the back catalogue we still
So
have yet to talk
this
about.
one is naturally idol-based.
Of course.
So what is Kirarin Revolution?
So it's basically a girl trying to get into the idol scene because what happened was she rescues, in typical Japanese fashion, typical 14-year-old girl walking along and with her friends and stuff, and then she sees this boy struggling to get this turtle. This is the first episode, by the way. He's stuck in a tree. So
How did the turtle get stuck in the tree?
we don't know, but anyway, eventually she saves it, and the boy is really appreciative of the fact that she, saved this this turtle. And
did she give him an idol handshake?
no, so she's not an idol at this
okay.
point. Whereas, and then he hands her a ticket to go to this thing because she's just thinking, oh, he's a staff member, like that's probably what it is, or something like that, because he works there.
Yeah.
She goes there. She sneaks. I don't know how I can't remember how she snuck in, but she
Out of a
meets
tree.
another. She meets another boy who's like really against her. Like, do not come in here. Like, this is not your scene. This is completely different.
But she's got a ticket, so
Well, he
Go
rips
away.
up and stuff like that. Oh yeah, like does not want her involved with this other character.
what a kid.
Yeah. Little does she know, and she realizes that him and this other person are actually an idol group. These two boys are in an idol group called Sales.
A
So-
boy idol group?
Boy
or-
idol group.
Oh,
So she's like, oh, I don't, I want to be a part of it as well because she's really like she's in love with this boy with the turtle and stuff like that.
The turtle that was stuck in a
So
tree,
she's like,
just to clarify.
well, if that's the case, I want to be an idol too. So this is basically watching her journey becoming an idol and all the tribulations and stuff like that.
Entering into the scene.
Oops.
Yeah. And what?
I'm just trying to move the screen and it hit the Baka button. Sorry. Baka turtle.
Turtle.
Yeah, do we get a prequel as to how that turtle got
Stop
stuck?
going on about the
I'm
turtle.
never going to
Turtle.
stop. I'm never going to get off that subject. What the hell?
It's a very long series. So it's like one of those really like 100 or so episode kind
Oh.
of thing. Yeah. So it's a full on thing. Then the story behind why I had to watch it is because there's a song in the show
Yeah.
that I've seen other idol groups cover, and I'm like, what is this song all about? I want to
It's got
find
a bit
out.
of a Russian vibe at the start.
Yeah, Balalaka. And I love that song so much. I was like, you know what? It's time to find out what this,
Is
is
about, yeah.
about. And I'm obsessed with that song, so I was like really happy because it's like one of the opening themes for the show as well.
A lot of idol groups have covered it then?
Oh yeah. Well, not like our community groups have kind of covered it and
fair
stuff.
enough,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's saying that though, this is kind of like a love triangle because she starts off loving one person, but in the end, she kind of loves the other guy. It's
Yeah.
your token.
Yeah, your classic sort of.
Yes,
yeah.
which is
Do you
what
mean
I
the guy
love.
who tore up a Is he a tsundere?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's
So
not
I
like
need
you
to
or
ask
anything.
something.
Yeah.
It was how many episodes?
So the first 2 seasons add up to about 100.
How much have
102,
you
and then
watched?
Yikes.
I've watched about like 6 at the moment, so I've
6,
got a
yeah.
lot to go through.
Yeah, I was going to say you've got a lot on your plate on that.
I do, but I feel like it's one of those shows I can like skip a couple of episodes, get to a point. Watch YouTube.
Oh, so it's kind of like one of those series where there are filler arcs.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be that person that sit and watch it. I mean, maybe I could, but like, I'm just going to like skip ahead of things with this
Yeah.
one. I love the animation style. This is always going to be my
Oh, it's
thing.
old school, isn't it?
Old school. You know
Yeah.
me. I love my old school stuff. I love the fact that it's idol anime. So it's another like look at, idol culture and stuff like that, which is probably one of the first shows that kind of really did that. We never covered it, so I want to watch it and see how it goes. But
Yeah, fair enough.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, I've been watching My Senpai is Annoying from this season. And this is adorable. And if you've... surprise, surprise, it's a romance series.
Is it one of the only romance series this season?
No, we've got Comey, which is
yeah, of
technically romance, but not till later. And then there's... Oh, and also Banished from the Heroes Party is technically romance too. There's quite a few... There's enough.
Yeah.
There's enough. It's not the only one. So My Senpai is Annoying is basically about this really short girl who is got green hair and she's working in an office and she's got her senpai is really tall and really muscular.
Yeah.
Complete sort of like, wow, the height difference is just so...
And he kind of comes across
Yeah.
a bit All Might.
He does.
He's
he
very,
does.
very chummy. I like
Yeah,
him.
but he's a really good dude, and the series is just basically slice of life, them working together in the romance, but that's happening in the workplace. And if you've seen Wotakoi, which is Love is Hard for an Otaku, it's essentially the same thing. They could even be in the same building.
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's sort of just a spin-off. This is happening at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Their building's really nice, though. It's got the really nice like subway tile.
Yeah.
It's all over. I'm just like, nice, well done, good building. But
From what I've seen that you showed me, I really enjoy that animation style as well.
It's got that nice sort of light, not too much of a focus on being overly overly live action, I guess, this thing. So we see like there's kind of there's two directions that people kind of take when there's a manga adaptation. They either are very honorable to the manga, including like, facial animation. So if they've done like, classic anime style facial animations, they'll include it in the anime. Or they have ones where they try to make it seem like they're pulling those faces or being animated that way as if it was meant to be drawing live action.
Yeah.
And I find the latter kind of takes away some of the charm. Whereas this is very much, it's got that dorky Four Coma vibe in some parts. And just, it's gag comedy and it's really well done. And to be honest, like the main character and her senpai, like the romance between them, if it happens, whatever, fantastic. I am 100% here for the side characters because they're just so... She's like one of the most popular girls in the office, but she doesn't date anyone from the office because they're all just going for her because she's the pretty girl in the office.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guy, the guy who, they kind of seem to be seeing each other at the moment in the series, he's just been doing things to help her out in the background, like getting rid of, pesty guys and stuff like that, and not in like a controlling way, as in just I don't think it's right that you're putting her in that position, so I'm going to call your desk, which then means you have to go back because someone's yelled across the room to say you've got a call on line 1 for you to get her out of the situation and stuff like that. So there's lots of little cute things, and she's a troll. It's great. She's like Takagi. She's a teaser.
No, she's a goblin.
She's not a goblin.
She has green hair and she's tiny. She's
that's the main girl.
Right.
The main girl's Sakurai, I think, off the top of my head. And she's got dark hair. And in the opening sequence, like, there's this shot where she's leaning over talking to the guy, and it looks like he's gazing somewhere he shouldn't be. And the sequence which follows shows that she's done it just to make him embarrassed. So it's got a lot of that sort of humor to it, and the main girl's best friend from high school, who's this she's got tan skin, yellow eyes, black hair, and she's like a sports lady. She's also teasing and just basically trolling the best friends, trolling the work colleague's younger brother.
Have you noticed, Farfar, that when Carl's talking about this stuff, it's kind of like, high school gossip?
It is.
It is. But that's the style of the show. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
And it's easier to explain without going, this name is that person, that name is that person.
I can just imagine Carl like in the high schools. Oh my god, can you imagine what's going on here? I'm like,
Well, I hate that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm.
Well, you've
not
changed now.
I'm not a fan of gossip in that
He
regard.
has joined the dark side of the high
No,
school
but
clique.
he's only doing it when it's in terms of anime, so it's a bit different.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's explaining the character dynamics, and like I figure, especially with these sorts of shows, if you try and go through all the names, people get confused.
Especially on like a big ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Imagine talking about Naruto like that.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also this one random lady in the office who's kind of just like the insane nutter, who's great. She's got grey hair and she just acts like a cat half the time, and she just goes around trolling all the male staff members. It is great. So, look, definitely worth watching. I'm a big fan of this. My senpai is annoying, so check it out.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been watching stuff this fortnight, you're listening to an anime podcast, so I assume you may have been. Let us know on this episode's post on social media or over in the comments section on YouTube as well. But now we need to get on to our main topic of the day, and that is the wonderful Mari Okada.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
We'll be there in time. There's 20 minutes of ads.
Cinema Club.
Okada Mari, as her name should be presented in the correct Japanese format, is a Japanese screenwriter, director, manga artist. She is prolific. She has created anime as the screenwriter, and also as what was the other term we had for her? The screenwriter, series composition, which is basically being in charge of scripts and everything else as well. So she is pretty amazing, and you might have seen many of her films and series without knowing them. Series in recent memory, we've got Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season, Toradora, Anohana, Lull in the Sea. Like there's a lot of good ones. Black Butler as well as
Which
1 and 2.
I was really surprised to hear she had something to do with.
Well, also Fractale as well.
Yeah.
Black Rock Shooter. Like there's a lot.
I feel like if you get a dart and you just threw it and you just thought of a different like anime show and stuff like that, you'd probably hit it.
If you sort of like compiled all the different My Anime List sort of titles and you threw a dart at it, you would have a damaged computer screen.
Well, I mean, obviously, yes, but like...
well, in this case, we're going to start with the films because that's where she's had the most control and, to be honest, some of her best work is.
Yes.
And straight up, Maquia, when the promised flower blooms.
I only just heard about this in the last couple of days and have not been able to watch it yet, so I'm going to be relying on you guys to tell me about it.
Yes, because it's been quite a while since I watched it as well. But Fafa, you've watched this and you remember it very well.
I do. I remember actually, I went to Brisbane to see the premiere of it as well.
Wow.
Because it was Anime Fest in Brisbane, the first Anime Fest.
The first Anime Fest, yeah.
And I was like, I'm definitely going because any Anime Fest I'm going to go to. And one of the movie premieres was Maquia, and at that point I was like, oh, I was really not in, I wasn't wanting to see it, but then I was like, you know what, no, I'm gonna go and see it, like, because it's a premiere. You how many times you get to see an anime premiere with weebs, basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's go. I went in and I walked out of that movie, literal tears streaming down my face. And I don't normally cry watching movies, but this one,
this much wow. I've already heard about it, that it will just attach
break
chains to your tear ducts and drag your tears out.
And at that point, I didn't realize it was a Mari Okada film. It just went over my head. But I mean, there was a lot of when I went to research it after seeing it, because I was like, wow, this is a really good movie. And I saw it with the Japanese, and then they released it with the English dub later on.
Yeah, the dub's actually quite good.
Dub is solid.
Yeah, you showed me a clip from it earlier, and the getting a child actor even in vocals, tricky, but man, the kid sounds
if
great.
It was a child actor.
Oh, I don't believe it was.
No, I don't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
I'm somewhat convinced it is, because they have that sort of like a
You'd be surprised
cadence.
though.
Well, I mean, what they do usually is for young boys, they get women to voice
do
them.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's Ariel.
Ariel, yeah.
Yeah. So, English. Oh, Eddie Lee.
Oh, hang on. Why do I know that name?
Pokemon Sun and Moon.
There we go.
No, we don't watch Pokemon Sun and Moon. So,
but, so this film is just unreal in the sense it's so. I was saying to you, Kyle, it's just one of those concepts you don't really see often, because it's
you don't.
It's kind of fantasy, but it's also humanized. And
it's basically the cornerstone of the series is kind of settled around the idea of immortality,
right,
and aging.
Yes. What's the story?
So, pretty much that. It's there's two types of human race. There's the general human race, which is what we consider us, and there's the humanoid race, which is the Eorth. Yeah, which is kind of they're not fairies or anything. They're
just humans who can live for hundreds of years.
Right.
Fae-ish elves.
They age very, very
but they
slowly.
don't look any different.
No.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to blend in. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they look like humans. They are pretty much humans, but they just age long,
hundreds of years. So basically the idea is that Maquia, who's the main character, if you will, is from this race, and she's always felt lonely despite being surrounded by her people, so because she was an orphan. So she daydreams about the outside world, but she does not travel from her home due to the warnings of the clan's chief. And then one day the outside world comes in. And basically, the power-hungry kingdom of Mezart invades the homeland, and they basically are looking for people to, I guess you could say, experiment on to try and turn themselves immortal.
Become longer life,
Yeah.
I see.
It reminds me of the Greek mythology in a way, just because they were very beautiful, blonde hair, goddess-like characters, and then you have the humans that are not so beautiful in that aspect. But what happens is, obviously they get attacked, the villagers get attacked, and the main girl, the chief.
She's basically, what happens is the bad guys come in with their dragons, and one of the dragons, which has gone completely bonkers, carries hers off while the entire village is being slaughtered.
Yeah.
Because it's just in a craze, and she survives. So she's left deserted in a forest far away from home, and then has to, deal with it, and ends up finding a child in a destroyed village.
A young human boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Baby, newborn.
Yeah.
And so she sets about raising this boy then?
Yes.
And so then it's basically the story of this young boy, Ariel, growing up with Maquia as his mother, and then obviously she's not aging, but he is.
So their relationship sort of changed then from mother and son to siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, more siblings. So this is as you quite rightly put it, Fafa, pure love. It's not. It's not ecchi. It's not erotic. It's not about. It's certainly not. I would protect my daughter from the demon lord.
Oh God!
Where I will raise her up and then marry her. Like, it's not that sort of thing. That's the big twist. Don't watch that.
Maquia, like you said, Carl, is like a pure love. It's a connection, a pure connection between two people, which is not sexualized whatsoever.
Which really comes up a lot in a lot of Mari Okada's kind of works.
Yeah,
it does actually.
Yeah.
It seems that a lot of her stories are very centered on the human connection more than anything else.
Bingo.
Yes. Definitely. Well, I mean, like Maquia is phenomenal, and that was her directorial debut. But let's talk about the one she did literally the year after, which is Her Blue Sky. Now, Sora no Aosa... Don't you? Sora no Aosa wo shiru hito yo. So this is about high school student Aoi, and she lives with her elder sister Akane after a tragic accident took their parents. And because Akane has been taking care of her single-handedly, Ao wants to move to Tokyo after graduation to relieve her sister's burdens and pursue a musical career inspired by Akane's ex-boyfriend. Now, Shino, the ex, was part of a band until he left for Tokyo as well to become a professional player. And then one afternoon, while she's practicing her bass guitar in the guest house, Shino suddenly appears.
Like unchanged,
sort of
as he was.
Ghost, if you will. But he's not a ghost.
Yeah, because
Shino then shows up in the town.
And so both are existing at the same time. You're just like, what?
Yeah. So it's really good. Like, I was so excited when it got announced. And then when it came out, I just rushed to see it. It was done by Cloverworks. So as you can imagine, good quality animation.
Yeah, and on Maquia as well, the animation quality is outstanding.
So crisp. The way they do lighting is just...
Well, it's because it's PA Works. So, and PA Works, when they have time, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like
they had time with this one.
I feel like that's something you can sort of measure in anime, is how they do rain. You can sort of determine quality by how they animate rain.
But I think that's unfair because Makoto Shinkai is obsessed with water. Like, if like, don't get me wrong, everything Makoto Shinkai has created has been phenomenally beautiful. But, all of his films have weather as a major standpoint. It's almost a theme to all of his stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he spends half of all production time just drawing clouds.
But I think lighting in particular is very hard to get,
especially in
weather.
So I showed Carl and Kenny a scene with the mother and son aspect, and I said, if any scene you watch from this film, it has to be this one. I could only find the dub clip, but even the dub clip,
it's good.
Like the emotion and just the visual and just everything about it, you knew she had some. Has to be this way.
Yeah, it carries. The emotion is so well directed. It feels like someone actually cared about what they were doing in this.
And you feel that
they did.
You feel, and you actually feel that moment. Like, you feel like that. You like, oh my God, this is just that relationship is pure. It is just so real. And it was just I can't. That's one of those movies that you just have to go back and watch again and again. It's so good.
Her Blue Sky came out. We did an episode on this podcast.
2020, was it?
2019.
2019.
But, October 2019 in Japan, and then obviously we didn't get cinematic release because of COVID.
Right.
And then it landed on Funimation middle of the year.
Of course, yes.
And that was when we did our episode on it. And
did you realize she did it though?
At the time I didn't, and then I found out afterwards. And then this is, again, another one which Mari Okada's done, which we didn't realize until afterwards.
Yeah.
A Whisker Away, which we did an episode on, I think, about 9 months ago.
Yeah, there is so much stuff in, like, not just stuff that we've watched, but in stuff that we've presented on this show that it's her, and we had no idea.
And yet, you know what? Every time we've reviewed or looked at the show, we've always come out positive. Like, we're like, wow, this is amazing. And the connection is there.
And that's that's why we're here today. Why we've brought her up to begin with is she is a name that deserves recognition, especially Maquia.
Maquia is just...
when I was first reading about it, saying, okay, what's this like? Most of the stuff that people were telling me in forums and chat and stuff like that was My God, this thing deserved awards.
It actually really.
it really did.
I'm quite disappointed it didn't get to that point.
But I'm not surprised anymore. I think we're not actually going to see another anime film get an Oscar.
It's sad.
I think ever since they've given it to Ghibli, the Academy thinks that's it. We're done. We've done it now.
Just Oscars in general are trash.
Yeah, they
Well,
are.
yeah.
It's rich people patting themselves on the back. Screw them.
Which is why you'll get the this particular film this year wasn't that good, but it addressed this specific right issue, which we know is popular. So, and there was like, okay, that's not enough for an award. And they're like, it's got all the awards.
But see, that's the thing with like Mari Okada is she has this way of storytelling, but having lots of stories intertwined to make one really solid story. And I'll bring it up later when we talk about the series and stuff like that. But Maquia had so many storylines going on through that one film, and it just tied in beautifully. Like, that's what I want for a film. I don't want to walk out of a film feeling like I have not had anything answered or
without the closure.
Without that and we got
she does a really good job at the closure
with Maquia.
Not just that, but it's fulfilling a need which I have been begging for a while. Just standard classic kind of fantasy setting,
exactly,
which is not an isekai.
Yeah,
they are spectacularly rare. And from what I've seen of this is exactly what I've been asking for.
I feel like,
and why haven't I heard of this?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. It's like the other thing as well is that she does a lot of stories which have different themes to it. Sure, there's a few of these, like Her Blue Sky and A Whisker Away, definitely have a love theme to them.
Yeah.
But as we said, it's more about the human connection, and
that's
it's human connections in different environments, which will like. She did Black Butler, like how, and then you think about it and you go, right.
Yes, but she also did something that you love as well.
She does. Well, she's done like 3 things that I adore. So let's just say that you should go and watch Maquia.
Definitely.
You should watch Her Blue Sky. And if you like cats, you should watch A Whisker Away.
And I would highly recommend the dub for Maquia as well.
Yeah,
No, and I would definitely also suggest Anohana, because if I had to suffer and be miserable...
we'll get to Anohana. That's a series. It's not a film. This is the cinema club right now.
Yeah.
My bad.
You see, I don't agree with that, Kenny. I think that this film is...
I'm sorry. Are you you're disagreeing with me?
I am, because we're at the movies.
With that note, she has a movie coming out, I think, next year.
Yes, she does.
Which she actually is screenwriting and directing. So,
do we know anything about it?
Alice and Teresa's Illusion Factory. Unconfirmed on release date at the moment, but she's director and screenplay writer.
So I'm ready, like, hands down. That is definitely going to be one I'm definitely going to be checking out, because
the title definitely provokes intrigue.
It does, doesn't it?
She's also done live action, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah. Screenwriter for The Flowers of Evil, which was a manga adapted into live action in 2019.
I don't know that one.
Anko Josai, which is...
Josai, I've heard.
That one I've heard.
That's also the film based on the mystery novel of the same name. And My Teacher, Japanese romantic drama film.
Oh, yes, this is the one I've been dying to watch, Anko Josai. Oh.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the anime news out of the way, and then we can get back onto this train.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
And before we get stuck into the controversy, we need to inform you that, as per the sting that just played earlier, Cowboy Bebop is being talked about, and the Netflix version has been cancelled.
Yep, no
officially.
Second series.
No second season. And to be honest, considering the reviews and the viewership of it, which dropped off dramatically after the first week, not that much of a surprise. It's a very Netflix move to do. So, though I believe it is the fastest they've ever dropped an in-house series.
Oh, Death Note?
No,
I believe that's still getting a second series.
You're kidding.
No. So they didn't do a Death Note live action series. They just did the film.
Yeah, but they were going to have a second one,
I
weren't
have
they?
No, that second film got cancelled after a month.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
No. They still have the rights to create another if they wish. But to my knowledge, there's nothing in production.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't seen anything anywhere.
I've definitely heard whispers, but then again, I hear whispers about all
I
sorts
really
of
hope
things.
not.
I have heard a very unofficial and very unsupported whisper.
No, don't even say it because it's not true.
Oh, but it's funny.
it's not. It's not happening. They're not
Yeah.
doing a spin-off series. The entire franchise product has been cancelled.
Oh.
So let's now actually talk about controversy.
Okay.
Court. So UFO founders Hikaru Kondo, we've mentioned him a few times on this podcast, being done for tax evasion. He has been done for tax evasion. He has now been charged guilty. He's been given 20 months in prison, but he's not going to prison.
Why?
Because it's a suspended sentence. However,
I don't get that.
all of the anime Facebook and Instagram groups are saying he's going to prison for 20 months. He's not. It's a suspended sentence. As long as he doesn't get caught for anything else in the next 3 years.
What is the point, though?
I don't know.
I think it's because white-collar crime in their books is fine, but, if you've actually went and murdered someone, that's a different cup of tea. I mean, the thing is he has paid back all the money.
Oh.
That probably
assisted
his,
with
Yeah.
Yeah. So both UFOTable and the president himself have paid back the money.
Look, I mean...
And when you have a
Yeah.
look at why he was doing it, you can understand. Because basically, UFOTable had a cafe. I think it was a Fate Stay Night cafe.
Okay.
And they were not declaring all of the earnings from it just in case something happened at the studio because they were worried they were going to lose a contract.
I see.
And like... It doesn't mean it's okay, but I can understand why
There's
he's went.
motive behind it.
The motive makes sense. It's not just I wanted to take more money.
Yeah,
because it's not like
not
the money
a guy
was in
who
his
wanted
pocket.
a yacht. It's
Yeah.
a guy who was trying to look out for an investment.
Yeah, so he didn't use the money himself. They all just basically put it in an offshore account just in case they needed to withdraw it and it was under the company.
So
not
it's
him.
one of those things where everyone just read headlines and just assumed the worst without
of
actually
course.
reading.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that happens often.
don't get me wrong. Like he, as the court commented, he was in charge, and his wife was the company's accountant, and she was reluctant to do the manipulation of the tax filings. Kondo insisted, which then showed strong intent to commit fraud. And she also understood why he was doing it, but she didn't think it was right, and that's fine.
And that is totally fine.
So he admitted the charges. It's not like all this time he's been saying, no, I didn't do it. He's issued an apology, admitted his
Paid
tax
the money
evasion,
back.
paid the money
So-
back. They filed a adjusted tax return last year to pay the money back. So it's all done and dusted.
So the suspended sentence is
It makes sense in this setting.
not unthinkable.
No, and this is not going to interrupt UFOTable's works in any form. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, that would be Demon Slayer and Fate. So, not going to happen. Now, on the note of Fateful Encounters, Beastars.
Good segue.
The final season of Beastars is coming. However, here's something to be aware of. We've had 2 seasons, and content-wise, there's 4 seasons. However, most of the manga fans hate how the last 2 arcs have been handled.
Oh, well, really?
And they think this might fix it. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch. So the final season has the potential to remove some of the problematic elements of the story, as has been put on several comments and forums. And it also has the potential, because they've reduced the amount of time, to give us a better ending. Because if they can't bring in some of those elements, therefore they don't play a role in the finale. So yeah, apparently there's a whole storyline that connects to the main guy's family and problems with him and so on. And apparently it just was unnecessary, a lot of fans felt, because it dehumanized the characters.
I see.
So I can understand where they're going from. But we don't have an update on the date it's coming. We just know that they've unveiled like the logo and all that, and Orange Anime Studio is again on board to do so with the CG and so on. And to be honest, if they've already got the logo and they've announced it, I'd be betting end of next year.
It definitely makes me intrigued to know what goes on in the manga then, like what's been missed out.
Yeah, I'll probably read it once it's done. That's kind of why I've been putting it off.
Likewise.
I'm the same. Like, I know all of, like, the girls in particular love Beastars, and they've done, like, my girls in particular do it, like, as their dance routine and stuff like that. I can't bring myself to watch it. I need to just have it all done.
The first season was really strong. Second season I haven't finished yet, and that's purely because of how poorly they handled the promotion for it.
First season was great.
Second season aired in Japan normally, but Netflix refused to air it as it came out, as they usually do, which is, in my opinion, just plain old lazy. If fan subbers can do it, Netflix, you're a corporation, you can do it.
Oh yeah.
So the second season, they dumped the entire thing outside of Japan on July 15. The second season debuted on Netflix. I think it was Yeah, so it came out like July 15 for Netflix. Sorry, the notes here are a bit messy. But the season it aired in January. So it had been 6 months since it started.
Yeah, okay.
So people were just like, why? Like, you've got no reason for this.
Mind you, in saying that though, like I'm just gonna kind of segue with the Netflix thing. I loved it, the fact they've done that with Eden Zero. I like that I have like a big chunk at one go.
I hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
I'm the opposite. For shows like that in particular.
The problem I have is that they do it and then they don't stick to the schedule they set.
Oh, okay.
And they've repeatedly missed targets for these things. They've have a look at Shaman King, prime example. Shaman King's only just like that started at the beginning of the year. It's only just got its 23rd episode in English now. It's just like no. Like
that's a lot of delays.
Yeah, I do wonder about the dubbing situation with Netflix actually, because like they shouldn't be an issue.
It's not.
If Funimation and Sentai can do it,
they're being tight.
Yeah,
they don't want to spend the money on it, and
Ridiculous.
they don't see anime as a value product. They don't realize how valuable it could be to them.
See,
that's the thing. Like people don't go near Netflix and their anime because they are of a lower standard to, like, say.
This is the funny thing though, because like the Netflix on Netflix Australia, anime on Netflix. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I decided to put the VPN on just to see what it would look like on the US and the Japanese one.
Much better.
100 times better. I don't understand why we can't have that.
It's a rights issue.
And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the issue a lot of us have, I think, is that the Netflix when Netflix get involved in production of anything, you can expect it to be a mess. I mean, prime examples here. Netflix are only involved in distribution on Beastars, so the series itself is quite good.
Yeah.
You have a look at any anime they've been involved directly in the manufacture or production of, such as the same style that Crunchyroll originals were or Funimation originals were, and it's awful.
Yeah.
And it's because they're applying the same approach as their films and series to that, and it doesn't work in an anime format.
Come to think about it, like we had last year, we had God of High School and all those Crunchyroll productions. What happened this year?
It's all on hold because of the there's X-Arm. Most of them are on hold. Half of them are coming back next year.
Okay.
For the sequels and stuff like that.
Let's face it, the last couple of years have screwed things around kind of majorly.
Yeah, of course. But at the same token, we've had a lot of time that they could be working on this stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, they've had time to do it, but they haven't. So that's basically what's happened. Now, because of that, I have no idea when we'll actually get Beastars Season 3. Hopefully they pull their finger out, but as we've seen with how they've just handled JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which was meant to be a monthly releases, and they haven't done that at all. I doubt they're going to do it. It's not that hard.
Aren't you grateful Lupin did not land on Netflix?
Oh,
then?
So glad Lupin didn't end up on Netflix.
I would imagine we would be hearing even worse.
Oh, you'll be hearing about it.
We'd be hearing about it for the next state.
No, I think Lupin has found itself a very nice home on High Dive where they will respect the content and make sure they look after the series because they realise the value of it.
I do think High Dive does the better job in that aspect.
High Dive are more respectful to the content they work with.
Especially with the release of Nana as well. I think they did the whole 2 episodes a week. They've caught up now.
Yeah, but it's by fans for fans, basically, which is what Crunchyroll used to be.
Used to be, yeah.
But I mean, admittedly, Crunchyroll was originally like a fan subbing group.
Well,
so,
of course,
you know.
but, you know.
It started small, it made it big.
It started small, and look at it now.
We had dubious origins, but now we're legit.
You can say that about
I love that they
things.
try to erase that history, though.
Oh, it's so bad.
Because we were all there. We knew.
We knew.
We knew.
We went through it. But look, let's
seen their dirty laundry.
They have seen it and they've put it out. Now, we do need to mention a passing of a great person, which is the creator and writer. Excuse me. So the creator of Wolf's Rain, the writer of Cowboy Bebop and Tokyo Godfather, which is Keiko Nobumoto. Now, she's also wrote Macross Plus, and she passed away on December 1st after a battle with esophageal cancer, i.e. throat cancer, at 57. They had a private service on December 4th, and director Watanabe has confirmed her passing as well. And Sato, who brought the information out, Dai Sato, he is an anime journalist in Japan, and he's the one who released the information publicly. So unfortunately, quite a shame. She hasn't been active in scripting for a while, but she did also contribute scripts for Space Dandy, Samurai Champloo, and so on. Pretty much anything Watanabe's been involved in, she at some point has been on. She wrote the entire screenplay for the Cowboy Bebop movie, for instance.
Okay.
So she's contributed fantastically, some amazing things over her time. On the note of another fantastic person, Makoto Shinkai. Now, this is the last item on the agenda, so listen up. Makoto Shinkai is going to reveal his new anime work on December 15th.
Ooh.
Now, this is the guy who created Your Name, Weathering With You, and several other films as well over the years. And he did Flower of Words?
Garden of Words.
Garden of Words.
I love Garden of Words.
So good.
It's gorgeous.
So he's going to reveal his new work on Toho's YouTube channel, i.e. Toho are going to be doing distribution, which is good, on December 15 at 11 p.m. Japanese time. For those in the States, that's 9 a.m. EST. And for us in Australia, that's
10.
It's 10 o'clock
We're an hour
on the
behind,
west and 1 a.m. over east.
Yep.
Do we have any idea about this?
The announcement video will add English subtitles on December 15, the day after. So it'll all be in Japanese to begin with. They'll have the subtitles the day after. They
I'll probably
realise
still
there
watch
is
it anyway.
interest.
Now, is it going to be connected to the other worlds?
Unclear. The only thing that we have is that it's a new film. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else?
Actually, no. It's not. Even doesn't even officially say it's a film, but we do know he's working on
series.
We do know he's working on a film.
Okay.
So
I don't know if I could imagine if Your Name had been a series.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, but
No.
that whole setup they did at the start,
no.
oh look, I can see how you do it.
Yeah, I can as well. But
I don't think it would be as powerful.
I mean, he practically made an opening sequence right at the start.
If you think about it, it would be very depressing.
It'd be a very depressing watch.
Oh my goodness, man.
Oh, it would be great.
Well, I mean,
though.
It would hit that episode 5 mark, and then that's the twist.
Well, I was
that
just
would
saying,
happen.
not only that, you've only got about 6 episodes worth of content there.
Yeah, true.
And I'd rather have the film for that.
I feel like
if you've only got 6 episodes to work with, it'd be better to release it in a film and make sure the narrative's strong
that's
throughout
the
all
thing.
of it.
I feel as though I think the word I'm looking for is that it's versatile. It could work either way.
The story could work as.
I mean, we know that
series.
it worked as a movie because
but
the
I'm with
movie is
Kyle on
great.
this one because of the plot itself, because it's so like,
Yeah.
Because it has that drop.
Yeah. Because imagine you had to stretch out the 12 episodes.
I couldn't.
No.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can't.
think you could stretch
It'd be
it to
too
12.
depressing as
No.
well.
And it's getting that live action Hollywood film as well.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, it's been in the works for quite a while. But as Kenny, you don't like live action, and that's okay.
I don't like live action.
However,
that's okay.
So here's the thing though: the way that they're handling it is they're not doing and this is what I say you should do when you're doing an anime adaptation. You don't do shot for shot. You don't keep things exactly the same.
No.
You take the soul
Otherwise,
of
you
it.
might as well just watch the anime.
Exactly. They're changing the story, so it's between a Native American girl and an American boy living in the city of Chicago.
I like that. No, I like that.
I like that a lot too. It makes sense for her to be living out there.
It does.
You know, I mean, I don't know the specifics of it, but
So what would there be, like the Great Five Chicago? Like, is that
I don't know. It's, but yeah, like
No, I don't think they're changing the decade or anything, so it's still modern setting, is it?
I don't know. We do not know.
That's exciting. Though,
It's
isn't
an
it?
interesting concept. So that's
See,
in the works, but we do
when
not
they-
have a release date or anything.
When they did it for Death Note, like made it like Western thing.
That
made us a
person.
bit.
I don't hate it. I don't mind that.
Heresy.
I just
No,
think
kidding.
No. I just think the acting was terrible. That was
Yeah.
it. Like the main guy was trash, but
Yeah.
everyone else was fine. And the whole concept of the city and things like that, I didn't hate it at all.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, that's fine. I just think it was a poor imagining of the characters compared to
Right.
But
but to be honest, it was also a more realistic imagining of the characters because they were children.
Exactly.
And we give anime characters a lot more leeway than we do
really
live
do.
action.
we did have like a full-blown debate about this ages ago.
We did. Well, we did a whole episode on it. But yeah, Bad Robots, J.J. Abrams is producing the Your Name. But they have actually, this year they have had Minari filmmaker Lee Isaac Chung pull out from directing it. So that's the thing. So
Okay, it's been
Paramount
lost.
still are looking for a director. is the last
I'm
news.
very curious about how they're like doing it with the whole Chicago thing. Actually, that really intrigues me.
I think it was Chicago. Actually, I'll pull up the article and find out what they said.
See, I've always said so. Like, if they ever did like Sailor Moon, right? I'd love to see a live action. Like, I mean, yes, there is a live action. There's the one that they did in Japan, but I would love to see.
What, you mean the like Saturday morning series, like with all the girls in wigs?
Yeah. But
I saw that.
But like, it's good, isn't it?
It's like fantastic production value.
Amazing, and it had a really solid. Like, it's not the same as the manga or anything like that.
No, it
So-
reminded me a lot of like Power Rangers and
Right.
stuff like that.
but it was very good. I'd love to see like an American take of Sailor Moon, you know, set in New York or
as long as it doesn't become
San Francisco,
you know, like Sex and
Watertown.
the City. Like, as long as they keep the core elements
Right,
of it. That's the
exactly.
important thing. Like, if you can't just create your own story and slap a badge on it and say it's this anime.
American Sailor Moon.
It would work though. That's what like people.
Well, I think they'd
American
be
magical girls.
Well,
more.
think American Sailor Moon, and think instead of them being seen as magical girls, they're seen as heroes.
yeah.
And not the Marvel or DC type heroes.
No.
They're seen as like just random people who show up and seem to be involved with lots of crises.
But they get the friendship group will be there, like and the teenagers. You know, there's a
There's a way to do it.
there is a way, and I'm gonna fight it and say this.
So, just so everyone's aware, Shinkai initially said he was enthusiastic for the live-action adaptation, and later he's added that he's not much interested in how it's actually handled.
that seems to be the case for a lot of this sort of thing.
Yeah. He says, it has already left my hand.
Wow.
I mean, look, he's fair. It's not going to be, he's not going to have much of control over it. So it makes sense.
But you know what? There's a lot of live action adaptations from anime that we do. Like Japan does it all the time, and we just don't realize it. Like,
Oh, yeah. Japan does a really good job
and
on that.
they don't stick to like.
Actually, Kenny, you haven't watched the Love is War live action yet, have you?
I've seen bits, but not all.
It's good.
Yeah, and
It's very good.
Tokyo Revengeance movie just got released in Australia as well.
Did it? Oh, yeah, it did too. Yeah.
It did, so I want to go and see
And
that.
Hells, there are live-action Death Notes. I had those on DVD.
Right, and
those were great.
And like, there's another series I won't name because obviously it's adult content, but they did parallel with the anime and the live action at the same time.
Yeah.
Parallel?
Yeah, so they've released it both simultaneously, the
Wow.
anime and the live action.
And this is the one that we want to talk about in
As the
in February.
extra, yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll do it in February for Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the changes coming in. So,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. But now we do need to get off the news topic and back onto
Oh, yes,
our
of
main
course,
topic. So bear with us as a moment.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Back catalogue.
Alrighty. Back to Mari Okada.
Hello.
Okada
Back on
Mari.
topic.
And let's talk about one of her most recent seasons, shows, animes, that is just, we raved about it on the first year of this podcast, and that was O Maidens in Your Savage Season.
Which, in my opinion, should have been Anime of the Year, and I voted for it in Crunchyroll hundreds of times.
See, that's the problem with Crunchyroll's
Yeah, I
Anime
know.
Awards. Because, people will just bot it. But
Deservedly, though.
undeserved. No, I don't mean that. I just mean like the ones that win are typically the people who have nothing else to do.
Oh, yeah. No,
So they just keep voting
Oh,
or
yeah,
set up
yeah,
a bot to do it for them.
Yeah.
So O Maidens Your Savage Season came out in 2019, but the reason we're starting with this one is Okada also wrote the manga,
Yes.
which is literally exactly the same as the series, is my understanding. So this came out in, I think it was July 2019, in the summer season. And it's basically a story focusing on a group of girls at school who are part of the literature club.
Yes.
And they were little kids laughing and playing together. The main characters it's Azumi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Onodera.
Yeah, Onodera.
Kazusa Onodera. And her neighbor Izumi were like siblings, but as their bodies matured into middle school, Kazusa began seeing him as something different. Unfortunately for her, so did the other girls. So feeling ostracized, Kazusa has no choice but to distance herself from him until going into high school. After joining the literature club, however, she finds friends that keep her mind occupied. Known throughout the school for reading aloud mature scenes in literature novels, the club's reputation has kept all teachers from accepting the task of being their advisor. During a discussion about what they would put on their bucket list, one of the girls says one thing: intimacy with another. I'm not going to say the actual word because we're a PG podcast. This single word sends ripples throughout the five girls as the thought of it begins taking over their daily lives. And after walking in on Azumi during a very private moment, Kazuha is sent into a spiral of emotion that forces her to face her true feelings for him. Now, with their hearts racing and the literature club facing immediate disbandment, the five girls must work hard to keep both their sanities and the club alive. Now, this is literally the most beautiful coming-of-age story I've seen.
Unbelievable.
It's like, hands down, if you're going to watch any anime that is about coming of age, about maturity, about... I'm trying to find another word without using that three-letter word that ends in X.
Wait, in the show they say something else, don't they? They don't actually say that word.
They don't. They say something else.
Yes.
And I can't for the life of me what it is.
As well. I was like,
I think we got to do a rewatch.
Oh, we're going to have to.
Yeah, there is something about this show that it feels important.
Yeah.
No.
Like if you have a look at the reviews, there's people in two camps on it. They either think it's all melodramatic, or they really do see the melodrama as part of that maturity process, which I think the latter is definitely more true.
I can see a lot of people identifying with kind of the struggles that these characters are going through.
Look, I mean, I don't see a lot of the boys identifying with it.
Well, it's not really centered on them, is it?
It's not. This is not aimed at boys. I'm pretty sure it's
it's aimed at girls.
Yeah.
It says demographic shonen, but I'm pretty sure they've put the wrong thing in there. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be Josei.
Yeah, Josei.
Yeah.
Shonen.
But the stories...
I want to watch the ones where they all charge up their Super Saiyan.
I tell you what, while sorting stuff out for this year's Anime Awards...
No, you know why it's saying that? Because it used to appear in a shonen magazine.
That's right. It did. The original did appear in a shonen magazine. But look, it's one of those series that when you watch it, if you're over the age of 15,
you would connect.
You've connected. You've probably gone through this in some shape or form.
No, but there's the other girls that all have different situations, scenarios and stuff, which you can all connect to.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. It's
Each one of them is handling it in their own way.
Right,
You've got Hongo, who I believe is in love with her editor or a teacher.
Yeah.
Sonozaki, who... likes a guy in her class and they end up going out together. Sugawara, who's not sure on her sexuality. Sudo, who's also in a similar boat and also questioning things about her self-identity and, what is important to her and is she being the person she truly is. So there's a lot of things, like it deals with depression, anxiety, social awkwardness, uncomfortability about, intimacy.
Identity. Almost.
Yeah, identity, the whole lot.
It's just so brilliantly done. And the fact that she wrote this as a manga first and then adapted it to exactly what she wanted.
I mean, the only criticism I have is the end did feel a little too short.
Yeah.
I feel like that needed an extra episode to fill it out.
Or like a OVA kind of thing.
To wrap up all
it up,
ends.
yeah.
I could see that.
I mean, they did wrap it all up, but it's not as satisfying as it could have been.
But that's a very Mari Okada thing. Like, film-wise, she does it beautifully. But with the series...
The series kind of...
It's always the case. Like, Toradora, for example.
Yeah, Toradora's like... The manga... ending is different, isn't it? So, and we mentioned this because I went and watched it and I did enjoy it, but I hated that second season. Like after you get halfway through and then all the characters' personalities changed,
right?
Because as you said, they actually needed a third season and they weren't given one. And it's like, so do we just finish in the middle or do we try and wrap it up?
It kind of reminds me, like His and Her Circumstances, Karikano.
Yeah.
And that should have ended. I'd love to see a Mari Okada take on His and Her Circumstances because I feel like she would give that story
she'd
justice.
Give it a lot of time and a lot of consideration, and she'd include all the
I would
small
love a
little
remake of
pieces
that.
that are in the background that you need to be aware of to fully understand the story.
Yeah.
But so there's that. There's Anohana. Now, Anohana is just hit its 10-year anniversary this year, and there is a stage play coming out in Japan next year to celebrate it, and along with an announcement alongside it, apparently.
Yeah, what was that image that was floating around a few months ago with them as adults?
Yes, and it was part of the celebration because they were going to have an event for it.
I see. Okay.
See, when you say event, when I first saw that, I was thinking, okay, so they're bringing out an OVA of
That's
them.
what I wanted to.
That's what everyone wants. and we don't know if that's in production or not.
I don't want this.
I don't want it.
You're like, no, I've already cried enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are talking about, like, we're saying, no, we don't want any more. It's just like,
I'm not ready to feel these emotions again.
I definitely want to watch it again, but not now. Once I've healed a bit more.
Yeah.
This show hurts.
It does. So,
this show kicks your feelings right in the soft bits.
Again, a Mario Kart thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one I'm thinking of is a Lull in the Sea.
Yeah. A Lull in the Sea is also... So that's on my to-watch list.
It hurts.
It hurts,
and
doesn't it?
I need to be in a good spot before I do that.
That was I spoke about the show a few months ago because I randomly picked it up on Netflix and not realizing it was a Mario Kart show, and I was just like,
once again, we don't know it's a Mario Kart
until we actually watch it. And you're like curious about it, and you're like, that makes sense. That is definitely her styling. That is just the way she does it. And oh my goodness, you've seen it, haven't you? Yeah, and it's just the way she tells that story. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, nah. So to put it in perspective, here's some background that my anime list has for it. The first Blu-ray volume went on sale on June 29, 2011. It sold more than 31,000 copies on the first week of release. At that time, that was the first week sale figures. It's the third highest for a first volume Blu-ray television of all time.
What show is this?
Anohana.
Oh yeah.
After only Magical Murder and K-On!
Oh wow!
Stiff competition.
Yeah, so that was 2011. Obviously, there's been changes since then to the shake-up, but it's still in the top 10, is my understanding. Anohana also received a jury selection award in the anime division of the Japanese Media Arts Festival. It's had a visual novel adaptation for the PSP, which diverges from the story of the anime and contains a different ending. And it was also adapted into a special live-action television drama in 2015.
Saw a little bit of that.
Yeah. Now,
I reckon they cast it quite well.
The series is set in the city of Chichibu in Saitama Prefecture, and that the bridge that you see on all the covers for it is like, it's a place you can go.
Yeah.
It's like one of the main places that they were, I believe, the team behind it, because you had Mario Okada and the rest of the Super Beastars on this one.
There's something so fantastic about anime that are set in places that you can kind of go to. It's almost like augmented reality.
Yes, I mentioned this when I went to Japan 2020
on your idol.
Yeah, and we had to go to Saitama, and you go on the train and you can see all these spots, and you're like watching these animes. You're like, wait,
I've been there.
I remember we had a similar experience, me and Carl, many years ago when we went to Venice.
Yes,
we went on a big boys trip.
So we'd played. The group of 5 of us had all played a ridiculous amount of Assassin's Creed. And this was back in like when Assassin's Creed 2 and its subsequent Brotherhood and Revelations came out.
When they had just dropped, yeah.
We mastered those games. We 100%ed every single one of them. We knew every location like the back of our hand. And we got to Venice, we went, we're staying in the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
Our building is the Thieves Guild.
And then the next day, someone's like, we should go to the Doge's Palace. And we're all just like, we know which way to go.
Oh, wow.
And so it's sort of the same thing for Japan. You'll see all these locations, you're just like, this is somewhere that I know.
Yeah, I feel like that a lot with like Tokyo in particular as well.
Yeah.
So the other one we do need to touch on, but we can't go in depth on because of its R rating, is Lupin the Third, the woman called Fujiko Mine. Now, we will bring this up. Maybe we'll do this alongside S's Wish.
Yeah.
On
Valentine's
Day.
Yeah.
So the woman called Fujiko Mine is a prequel series, and it's the story of how Fujiko first met Lupin and the rest of the team. And it's set well beforehand, but it is also much more mature. So if you've seen the films, the recent sort of more mature films like Fujiko's Lie, The Gravestone of Jigen, and so on.
Goemon's
Blood Trail. These are... Blood Trail?
Blood Trail.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking Roberta's Blood Trail from...
Goemon's Blood Trail is just...
Yeah.
Ooh.
Those are all continuations of this story. And,
But even despite that, the visual style is so different to anything I've ever seen.
It's psychedelic. And Okada was once again on board with this as pretty much the head of everything. But
you can see the difference between that.
Holy cow, Watanabe was a producer on it.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that. As in Cowboy Bebop, Shinshiro Watanabe.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? Well, that makes sense.
But
Now it all makes sense.
It feels separated, even though so many elements
And
are familiar.
A lot of people who have seen Lupin series, they highly recommend watching this one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this is a more mature story, whereas Lupin definitely is a lot more sort of jokey and so forth.
Oh,
This
course.
is very mature. It is not for kids in the slightest.
And that's a good thing with Okada as well. She has this thing of like taking very adult concepts, but make it more for each, like, I can't say
Well,
like...
she takes an adult concept and she makes it digestible by the audience.
She
Yeah,
explores
that's
it.
it.
Yeah, without it seeming like she's being, etchy or anything less.
It's
I
not lewd or
love
rude.
that.
It's simply an exploration of something challenging.
I think
almost.
what she tries, like, yeah, she does have that fantasy aspect and things like that, and that mystical, like, with Anohana and thing like and Lull in the Sea. But in the same token, like, with Maidens and like Lupin and stuff
Yeah.
like that, there's a lot of realism as well.
Mm-hmm. There definitely is, and that's why it stands out so well.
And like a few other shows we could talk about, Black Butler, AKB 048.
I mean, that's definitely more your cup of tea,
Oh,
with it
of
being
course,
the
yeah.
idol scene. But,
Very different again.
Mhm.
One in particular that stood out to me, and I was saying to you guys, was Iron Blood's Orphan Mobile Suit Gundam.
I had no idea she was attached to that.
And it makes sense when you actually watch that series, and you could see, oh yeah.
Well, there's one here that I noticed that I've never mentioned before, and that's the Book of Bantora, which is a very weird series.
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's based on a light novel series. It's a bit weird. Basically, here we go. Plot. In a world where deceased people turn into stone-like books that are stored in a labyrinth, anyone who touches such a book can glean into the past, observing the life of the person who died to create it. The Bantora Library is maintained by the armed librarians who are trained in combat and wield supernatural abilities. Their operations are overseen by the library's acting director, a hardened killer herself.
That sounds so trippy.
Yeah, it really, like, when you first showed me Bacano, it reminded me of this.
Really?
Bacano. Bacano is a happy version of this, if that makes sense.
Oh.
And it's not so much well, not directly, but it has a very similar sort of vibe. You've got a vast cast of characters. They all have their own goals. They all have things that are interweaving in between them and so on. And it's
But yeah, definitely a far more fantastical kind of a concept than Mari's usual kind
and
of
there's
catalog.
also Kanan as well, which was a while back. There's Vampire Knight.
yeah, Vampire. That's a big
Vampire
one.
Knight. Oh man, that's
That's big. That still is cosplayed in
I
like
know.
cons and things like that.
Fractale.
that's a Lull in the Sea.
Yeah, there's a few other ones in here that aren't as well known. She did do Lost Village Manoyama, but that's awful and don't watch it. And that's
Look, with a catalog the size of hers, they can't all be gems.
Well, I was going to say that's the only one which I'd say don't watch. Like everything else, I'd say is worth a shot.
What I like about it as well is like it's not restricted to one studio. There's like she's used PA work sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
She's JC staff sometimes.
Just from the ones we've talked, Lay Juice, A1 Pictures, TMS, JC Staff, PA Works.
She's
PA
not
Works.
she has been everywhere.
Yeah.
And every time she goes there, it's good quality too. So look, definitely worth having a look. I'll put all of the shows we've discussed in this episode in the episode description so you can track them down because they're all fantastic and they're all worth your time watching. Black Rock Shooter, that's the other one I forgot to mention, which still gets cosplayed to this day. I haven't even watched it. I
saw like art for it years, like decades even ago.
I mean, I think it's also like a game franchise too, so that kind of makes sense.
Oh, fair
yeah,
enough.
it is. It's OVA, game, manga, TV series, game, manga, game. So yeah, it's a multimedia franchise, if you will.
But let's put it this way. If you see her name attached to a project, you know you're going to get some sort of quality out of it.
Exactly. So go watch some Mario Kart stuff, and that's where we'll wrap up.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Well, that is where we're going to leave things for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. We actually stayed on time for once, and we're close to an hour as opposed to 1.5 or 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
We will be making changes in the new years to ensure that happens more often,
Yay.
which is good. Next time, it is the Anime Awards.
Yes, who will win the Vaulted Cabbage of Shame?
Yes, and who will get the Truckun Award? Because you had how many Isekai this year?
Oh, God, yes.
Holy cow. So look, stay. If you're not subscribed, if you're on YouTube, join us. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you've heard what you've heard. If you've heard what you've heard, if you've enjoyed and you've gotten to this point, make sure you are subscribed for the future episodes. We are on every fortnight unless one of us is violently ill. Normally me. So we also have our YouTube channel with our dedicated videos, so you can find a link for that in the episode description. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support the channel, you can also support us on Patreon. We have additional content on there, such as episode outtakes, video extras, and show updates. So if you can afford to support us, we'd be greatly appreciative.
Yeah, we have a good yammer about stuff that's just not so much related.
Yeah.
Just like for a good 15 minutes before
each shows. Because otherwise we'd spend the opening doing it, and that kind of isn't the point of the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, we have the tangent button, but we don't like to push it.
No. So if you do if you'd like to join the Kawaii-Fi community, words are not my strong point this evening. Head over to our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. We've got breaking anime news, which is vetted. I must stress this because the amount of faulty anime news out there is driving me nuts at the moment.
Hey, did you hear that Ghibli's coming out of retirement?
Yeah, it happened in 2016. So head over to our social media channels, join us. We've got memes, videos, anime news, and so on. It's a good time. You've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, watch some anime!